let's talk about like lessons and wisdom, because wisdom's kind of hard earned along the way. But the best lessons you've learned that have made you a better CEO or a better person. And there's lots of great things that happen along the way, but sometimes the other stuff teaches us a few more things.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you have you know, you have days where you win and you days where you lose, and you need to learn from both. Um, so
Yeah.
you can replicate it, or on the loss side where you don't let it happen again, right? And you got to be very mindful of that. Um, I mean, Jim Collins talks about it, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can multiply, it's how you react to those, and how you deal with those things. So, we're always very, cautious about getting too high or getting too low. I would say
Hmm.
one thing we probably don't do well is we don't celebrate our successes well. We give each other a pat on the back, and get back at her. But yeah, I mean, there's
That's a common trait, by the way, of high performing organizations.
yeah,
Is there the celebration, and often people are more likely to have to work on celebration versus having to work on the hard work part. And so when you got the hard work, you get a lot of stuff to celebrate, but you just often just keep on pushing.
yeah. I mean, and surrounding ourselves by good people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely one thing you learned over the years. You can't do your best if you're trying to shore up other people right along the way. So you have to have amazing people that are
Yeah.
working with you arm in arm, and it just helps, makes everything better. and
It's
and and
everything.
and, and you don't need people that have the same skill sets. You need different skill sets, different mindsets, that are all achieving looking to achieve the same goal. Having you know you want to have people that have similar values, and agree with the culture that you're pushing out throughout the organization. But having different skill sets is huge too.
Yep. Yep. Anything else in terms of lessons for you?
Oh, I think that probably covers it.
That's good. Yeah. Cool. So a couple other questions, and we'll get again a couple things. I also want to ask you about your own, resilience and how do you stay mentally strong. We'll get to that in a sec. If you go and look at biggest accomplishment, you've got lots of lessons and things, but what's the accomplishment you're most proud of along this journey?
Within with regards to CDN.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
or otherwise, yeah.
personally, I mean, I have three amazing kids. I have two sons and a daughter, Stone, Lola, and Cruz. I love my kids, and they've been an important, part of my success as well, right? They're my biggest fan, and they're my cheerleaders. So I'm very fortunate to have them in my life, and as they grow up and mature, and become adults, it's awesome to watch.
No, wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I it's amazing how fast they grow up. But I'm you miss when they're younger, but it's pretty exciting when they become adults, and they're your best friends. And that's the next, it's the next chapter, and it's awesome too.
Yep.
They're all good stages along the way, but excited for the next phase for sure.
Yeah, that part's fun. Yeah, for sure. Um, the thing that in terms of your learning, like I know you've attended the lab with Jim Collins in Boulder, the 2 day experience with him, which I know you got a lot out of, and he's obviously amazing. Whether it's to do with him or other things, the resources, like the actual technical learning of books or podcasts or courses, which are the ones that have really resonated with you in a way where you continue to use those principles or think about those principles?
I mean, Good to Great is hands down. It's the one I
Yeah.
always thinking about looking at.
Good to
y-
great is great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, I refer back to it. I usually listen to the audiobook, once a year, just to
Mm.
refresh. And there's always something that you missed along the way. So, I'd put that one up there. I mean, your book, put on your auction match first, is a great book. Lots of good value in there, and good, and just amazing concepts, right? From, obviously from yourself, but just makes sense, right? The concepts work.
Yeah.
BE 2.0, another Jim Collins book. Um, Great. I love that one as well. Just
Yeah, me too.
some refreshed ideas and principles in there. And then scaling up, which we had talked about earlier. Yeah, that kind of got us off the ground and got us thinking strategically, and really focusing in on the business and putting plans and targets and KPIs in place. So that was super helpful. One I recently read, Chop Wood and Carry Water. I don't know if you've read it, but anyways,
I've heard of it. I haven't read it. Somebody else referenced it.
it's a great book. Yeah, just like the book, like it's an easy read, and it just talks about, you just got to put in the time. It's
Mm,
kind of like the 10,000 hours, right?
yeah,
It's very similar concept, right? It's just everybody wants you know big role, or they want the promotion, but sometimes you got to put in the effort and put in the
yeah,
time, and it'll come. It
yeah.
comes, because you can't replace hard work, right? If people put in the effort and the time, right, they're always going to get rewarded in the end. So
It's
anyways,
funny. I say that to my kids. I said, and my kids are noticing it as they're starting to have, jobs while they're going to school. And I said, at the end of the day, most people try to cruise by. And you just have to work 10% harder than everybody else, and you will become the best in time. You will rise to the top and you will outperform everyone else because most people are just trying to do the minimum. But when you work hard and do the extra, and then when you do that over time, it's almost impossible to not succeed at anything. Like I've never seen someone who works incredibly hard. Obviously, there's bumps and bruises, but it's quite interesting at this stage of life looking back and I go, well, the people that didn't achieve a lot, well, they didn't usually work that hard,
yeah,
or
yeah,
they gave up. They gave up when it got tough, and
yeah,
that sounds like that's maybe what that book talks about.
yeah. No, exactly. No, you have to put in the effort and the time, and
Yep.
there's very few people that have busted their back over the course of their lifetime that didn't achieve what they wanted to, because
Uh
it's
huh.
almost impossible, because you can
It's
out you can outwork
almost
you can outwork most people, because a lot of
you can
people are
outwork 99% of people.
inherently lazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's fast. Yeah, we could talk about that one forever. It's awesome. So speaking of outworking takes a lot of energy, and I know you crank hard and your team cranks hard. So what do you do? In your oxygen mask first, we talked about resilience rituals. Like, what do you do for your resilience? For your body, mind, spirit to stay strong and charged up? Because it's not always easy. So what do you do to stay strong and charged up?
Yeah, I mean, I used to, run on fumes. I would say I'm trying not to do that as much anymore, but definitely, trying to exercise, keep the body and the mind, you know, ready, make sure they're ready to go when needed. Eat good when possible. I do travel a lot, and I am
What does good mean? Does good mean those really good restaurants, or does that mean vegetables and a piece of fish?
yeah,
Those are
eat less,
yeah.
eat less, but still have really good meals. But yeah,
Yes, exactly.
you know what
We
it's
we
like.
have that in common. We both love great food. Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, when you're at home, try to cook a few more meals,
Yeah.
and watch what you're putting into your body. Um, just I think as you get older, it's more important, right? When you're young,
It's more obvious. Yep.
you can burn the candle at both ends and still
Yep.
run 100%. But as you get aged, it's not quite as easy. But yeah, definitely that. And I try to spending time with family and friends, and try to try to get a little bit of downtime, and turn it off every once in a while, take some vacations. It was one thing we didn't take a lot of when we started the business and we're growing the business. There wasn't a ton of time, and there still isn't, but we're mindful of making sure people get some downtime as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to another CEO in the US this morning, and we're talking just one of our sessions, but just talking about how, like, normally when he gets to this time of the year, every year, he starts to burn out. And by the time he gets to the holidays, he's just exhausted. And then he would always, take time to recover after the holidays and into January. And I sort of said the same. Like I used to kind of the same thing, burn the candle at both ends. It's just hard to sustain that. And, we're in November when we're recording this. And often in December, I used to get just burnt out and sick. So my goal these years is to not have the candle go out every year at the holidays. Right? We'll see how it goes this year. I think I'm doing better, but time will tell when we get there.
Yeah, well, I know the feeling. There was many Christmases when the kids were younger that, I'd have the cold or the flu or be
Yep.
totally run down, and trying my best to get some energy, so, when they're opening presents and doing Christmas dinners and whatnot. But yeah, just totally burnt out by the end of the year.
Yeah. I remember, and I used to do a lot of time in the Middle East then, and I would be jet lagged and sick and all those things. And that's like their 30s and 40s a lot of times, just pushing way too hard. I mean, it gets results, but yeah, hopefully I'm trying to be smarter myself. Yeah. Awesome. So speaking of, like, 30s and 40s and, advice, well, if you could, give the younger version of yourself, or just someone who's earlier, someone who's at the 20 employee version of you, what advice would you give the person that's really trying to start to build something great like you've done? And yeah, they want to, what would you suggest to that person?
Well, I mean, you're not gonna nail it every time on everything. There's gonna be highs, lows. There's gonna be wins, losses. But you know what? If you have the entrepreneurial spirit, bet on yourself all day long. I love being an
Mm,
entrepreneur, and if people have that desire and that motivation and work ethic, I mean, go do it. You set your pace, and pace is fast, but go do it. And at the end of the day,
mm-hmm.
if you work that 10% harder than the next guy,
Yeah.
you're gonna succeed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would encourage people to do it. It wouldn't change anything for the world.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
happy.
It's hard and it's rewarding and it's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And the 10% sometimes turns into 20% harder than other people.
Yeah, well, that just means
That's the game.
you're out hustling them, and
Yeah, exactly.
next guy
I
you're
like that. Bet on yourself, like betting on yours, because that's really what you're doing. You're betting on yourself to figure it out, to take the lumps, to get the lessons and move on.
yeah.
And yeah.
There's going to be lumps.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way around it, right? But you got to learn from those, and you got to dust yourself off and get back in the seat and get going again, right? Like you
Yep.
can't dwell on it. You learn from it,
Nope.
and away you go. But
Move on. Move
that's
on.
part,
We have
if
one of our
if it
slides
was
I was
easy,
sharing with.
everybody would.
What's that?
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly. I've got a slide that I keep track of how much money I've been a part of making bad decisions about in boardrooms I'm in. It's at $350 million. I've been in the room where we made choices and then no one went, psh, $350 million of burnt cash, like cash, not opportunity cost, cash. And it's all kinds of, bad. It's like, but it's what people don't realize is how the number of bad decisions and expensive mistakes that happen along the way. We're not excited to talk about those to people, but
Yeah.
it's part of the game.
But on the other side, that number will trump the 350. So
Oh,
yeah,
the just in company in client exits, it's been billions of dollars of exits, and most of our clients haven't sold.
yeah.
So yeah, it pays for itself in spades in time, but yeah, it's part of the journey. Yeah, cool. So final thing for you, and Dina, thanks for sharing your journey and your experience. But what's the next big thing for your company? If we look forward, let's say the next decade, what's that? What does that look like for you?
Well, I mean, obviously to grow and maintain CDN, like we always have, but continued growth here. But our focus and trajectory for more growth is going to be, you know, in the US and globally with Cavis Energy. That's the brand that we created, you know, for our global brand outside of Canada, you know, US and globally. But we just see tons of opportunity and our skill sets, you know, Canada has some of the best tradespeople and skilled people in the world, and you know, I think we can leverage that and grow that area of the business, obviously with the Hoffman family behind us and helping us through that growth. You know, we're excited about that, and yeah, we just world domination. I think you know,
I love it.
one of our you know, one of our big goals is, you know, to be you know, world leader in the space that we operate in, and
Wow, that's exciting.
We're heading there, and yeah, we're excited to see where it can go. We got lots of fuel in the tank. Nobody's tapping out. We got a, you know, younger, you know, management team, ownership team. So everybody's excited to see where we can go and see where we can take it, and the continued growth.
That's awesome. So two guys jumping out of a business and starting off their own, turning into 750, and soon heading towards a global company. And maybe next time we talk, you'll be sitting in some other country with your next new country that you're opening up. That's awesome.
Let's hope.
That's good. Well, hey, it's all just determination, as you know, right? Just continue to push, have good people, good partnerships. Yeah, bet on yourself. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Dean, thank you so much for taking the time today. Really, really appreciate it. And I'm excited to see what happens next. You've come a long way and you've accomplished, you got to a scale that most businesses never get to. Most businesses can't get to the scale you're at. And it's exciting to see that you want to continue.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate the chat.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you.